check in on our social life. It's official. Thanks for letting me know, guys. Aaron Rodgers is a Pittsburgh Steeler. The team posted about it on social media last night saying, quote, "We have agreed to terms with Aaron Rodgers on a one-year contract pending the completion of a physical." So, Key, what was your instant reaction to hearing the shocking news when it was reported yesterday?
See, I say y'all should have been listening to me the whole time. You know?
Okay.
I just know, but...
What? What was that?
What was that voice?
Foghorn Leghorn?
That was like some Western key.
Listen to my whole time. We need to get him a piece of hay.
No, at the end of the day, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, okay.
Country
it
key.
It makes country key. Lord have mercy.
That's what that was.
CMAs, I missed it.
Nicely here.
But no.
That's your whiskey?
Oh, God. I knew it's Friday. I knew for a fact that he was going to wind up signing with them right before minicamp. I just knew. Because you can't possibly, no matter how weird, crazy, whatever we think Aaron Rodgers may be, Joy and Paul, you can't possibly leave the Pittsburgh Steelers at the altar. You cannot do that based on your reputation and where you want to go beyond your football career. I'm like, he can't do that.
I wasn't concerned, really, that he wasn't going to sign there. But do you have an issue with him not being there for the last couple weeks?
Look, as I said before, if he missed the first week of OTAs, I'll extend it a little, give him 24 hours. Mm-hmm. Then, as I started thinking about it, I'm like, it's OTAs. There's a lot of people that be come and go in OTAs. You just see Michael Parsons came and he left.
Yeah, Mike has been playing there, though.
I understand. The main thing, though, is the mandatory minicamp. Just don't go to Egypt. That's it. You're going to be good. You're going to be good. Just don't go to Egypt. Don't all of a sudden disappear in a mandatory situation. Mandatory situation is different than voluntary, as you know, right? I mean, if they tell you, hey, it's voluntary, you're like, okay, cool. I don't really need to be there right now anyway. I got some other things to do.
Yeah, I mean, it is of my opinion.
And that's okay.
That if you are not affiliated with an organization, you are not ingratiated in the system, you have no familiarity with your teammates.
That's true.
The training staff, the rehab staff, the city, the front office, anyone, the streets of Pittsburgh, that maybe a couple extra weeks might help.
8 days. He can get 8 days of learning how to drive around the freeways in Pittsburgh.
Okay, well, nothing matters if you win.
No, that's very true.
Right.
And if it turns into a disaster, we'll be the first to talk about it.
I'm not sure they're going to win in Pittsburgh.
Well, I don't know about that, though.
Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, the Steelers quarterbacks from last season, are now starters for both New York teams. So, Key, is Rodgers really an upgrade at quarterback for the Steelers?
I think he is. I really honestly think he is. And I would have liked to have seen Justin Fields really get a fair, true opportunity to lead this team. Not 6 games, but a real opportunity. And I just think that Aaron Rodgers gives them something from a veteran standpoint and Mike Tomlin a certain comfort level that if he had to put the keys in Aaron Rodgers' hands in a game situation, that Aaron Rodgers would deliver. Now, we'll get early indications of what he is at the quarterback spot, no question about it, because we have no Achilles issues. We have no injury issues that we know of. So the whole playing it conservative out the gate, I don't think we're going to see that in the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to be able to see them kind of get things going. You know, they traded for DK Metcalf, which is a huge, huge situation. They're still a run-first team. That's not ever going to change in Pittsburgh. And they're a defensive-minded team. But when I need that big shot, I know he could possibly hit that big shot to DK Metcalf, where I wasn't sure about Fields and I wasn't sure about Russell Wilson. I'm a little more sure about Aaron Rodgers in this situation.
I'm not, like he and Joy, I'm not necessarily sure that this is an upgrade, because think about this. This is probably going to be, would you think this would be Rodgers last year playing in the NFL?
Yes.
Most likely. Most likely. I mean, I don't know. Will you think he'll chase another team? Just gonna keep bouncing around?
No. What does it look like in the end? Like, it's all going to depend on what it looks like. If it's a disaster, yes. But if they are one game and they're in the AFC Championship game, something like that, then he probably bring him back the next year. Depends on what it looks like.
All signs point toward this being his last year, based on what I've seen the last 4-5 years from him. Hasn't won a playoff game in
I understand.
4 years. Hasn't particularly done well. Hasn't been to the playoffs since 2021. And then when you've already contemplated retirement years ago, it's like you got
you start playing that 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah, so then like,
I'm
how
retired.
motivated will he be day in and day out in practice? You know what I'm saying? When you know the end is coming, I'm thinking about my last year.
I think he's gonna be real motivated. I think he's gonna be real motivated because he has to prove something to Joy.
Man. But it's tough when you got 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
You retired
like
and you
waking
retired
up
and
like
didn't announce it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got 1 foot, and then you like, man, let them start off like 1-4 or something.
Then he's toast at 1-4. But if they start off 4-1, that may, we got to see it play out. But if he starts off 4-1, he threw for 3,900 yards last year. Threw for 3,900 yards. And got better at the end of the season. I know Joy hates when I say that.
No. He did. He went from 62.5% completion percentage to 64. He increased his passing yards per game by about 30.
Slightly better.
So his passer rating was up 87.5 to 98.3.
So if he could start off like he finished, I'm telling you, I think it's an upgrade from Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
I think it's the same. I think it's a wash or worse. Russell Wilson has never been the quarterback that Aaron Rodgers has been throughout his career, but Russell Wilson did win a Super Bowl and then go to another one. Fields was 4-2 when he was benched. That's one less win than Aaron Rodgers had all season last year at 5. When we get a distance to something, we romanticize it. The further away you are from something, the more your brain starts to try to remember it in a safer and happier way. Oh, man, maybe it wasn't that bad with her after all. Nope, it was. It was that bad. It was that bad. Go back, look at the text messages, scroll through the one that's like that long, and then just go back to your day, okay? That's what we're doing with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has essentially been the same guy since his last year in Green Bay.
Yep.
A statistic here, a moment here, but he's the same guy. Last year, he was bad. He played the entire season poorly. They did not win more. They won 5 games.
Yeah, but they fired a coach.
Why did they fire the coach?
Demoted an offensive coordinator.
It's always everyone's fault but his. It's always everyone's fault but his.
No, I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying when you
I think that the Steelers have a better defense than the Jets had last year. They have a markedly better defense. Yeah. They have a better coach than anything that he has dealt with.
That's all I'm saying.
In the past couple of years.
Stability.
They have stability. They have good weapons. It's a completely new place with a new system. He's a smart guy. I'm sure he'll figure it out. And those extra 8 days won't matter. And the internet will remind you how silly I was that he wasn't there earlier. Okay? I don't think that he is markedly better than what they had going on last year.
That's
I think
fair.
that this will be the first year of Mike Tomlin's career where they will not have a winning season.
Ooh, man.
And I think the ceiling that they have with him is winning a playoff game. So the high is they win a playoff game. The low is this is a complete and utter disaster. I don't think it will be a disaster.
Why do you think that they can only win a playoff game?
Because Joe Burrow, because
Joe Burrow
Josh Allen, because, okay, fine. But Joe Burrow in that division, Lamar Jackson, you have Justin Fields, and you have whoever in Cleveland, you have C.J. Stroud.
Okay.
There are so many young, good teams in the NFL.
But the Pittsburgh Steelers are a good football team.
They are a good football team.
They're a good football team.
And they replaced 2 quarterbacks for the same guy. The difference is we believe that Aaron Rodgers has the ability to tap into what he was when he was playing at an MVP level. He hasn't been that guy for 4 years.
So why do you think...
The only difference is now he's 41 and he's going to be 42 mid-season.
So why do you think they think it's different? Because they're the ones that made the decision.
I don't know. People do crazy things all the time. I mean, do we want to go down the list of decisions that we could all sit back and criticize that were questionable? Like, I don't think I know more than the Pittsburgh Steelers front office or Mike Tomlin. This is just my opinion. I don't think it's a difference. I look at the numbers. I remember what happened at the beginning of the season last year. This year, a few months ago, Aaron Rodgers was playing football for the New York Jets, and it looked how it looked.
I think they saw something toward the end of the season in their quarterbacks, and they saw something in Aaron Rodgers toward the end of the season, and they said to themselves, he's better than those guys. He's better than them. Because if you think about it, Mr. Rooney said that he wanted to keep one of the two, not both, but one of the two. They both decided to leave. And then they started to figure out that they needed a quarterback, and the quarterback they needed was Aaron Rodgers, because they saw something in him that makes them believe that he can get them to where they're trying to go. And I believe if he plays well enough and don't make some of the same mistakes that Russell Wilson made that Justin Fields wasn't making before they benched him, that the Pittsburgh Steelers will be in good shape. That's what I believe. But I could be wrong.
But think about this. In the Pittsburgh Steelers system, does Rodgers actually fit?
Yeah, because they're not going to ask him to do a lot.
But he's a do-a-lot quarterback.
He can when you need him to. But they gonna run the football and they're going to play defense, Paul.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith will talk to Aaron Rodgers about the things that he likes, that he wants to do, that he's comfortable with, and they'll try to implement that into the system. But they're going to change their offensive system.
No.
Not at all. He'll be able to make certain throws and do certain things as long as they're running the football solid and sound and they playing defense. They got, look, man, it ain't never changed in Pittsburgh, okay?
Yeah.
Bill Cowher, from Bill Cowher on that, well, it's only been Mike Tomlin and Bill, 3 coaches. They ain't never changed. They gonna play defense. They gonna have a quarterback that can dink and dunk and hit some throws here and there, and they gonna run the football. That's what they've always done as an organization.
Right.
You know, outside of Ben Roethlisberger and Terry Bradshaw, they really never, quarterback-wise, it's been us.
They ain't had a franchise quarterback since.
That's it.
I think it's a Band-Aid for Rodgers to finish his career with some dignity and for the Steelers to postpone a rebuild for a year.
You might be right, though.
No, maybe
you may be
wrong.
right, but
maybe
Aaron
they'll be in the
Rodgers
Super Bowl this year.
Your picture is in his locker
I'm sure.
with an arrow and cross out and an arrow pointing down. He on a mission to prove you wrong, Joy.
I'm sure it's all about me. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.